Hey, welcome back to the shop and the channel, to episode 2 of the turning a modern violin into an older violin and using a kit as opposed to doing from scratch. Yeah. So I will preface this by saying I'm not a professional luthier. This is the first instrument I've ever tried to build, and I've repaired some guitars in the past, but that's irrelevant. So what this video is about is more of tools and process. So let's go through some of the tools that are needed to do this and the process by which I do it. So we'll start out with what I mentioned earlier in the previous video is tuning the plates. Front plate, back plate, spruce, tiger maple. So what that means is I need to graduate the thickness of the plate across from here to here, here to here, and so on, to thicker to thinner, typically about, this is all 4mm all the way around, and through the thickness, and typically down to about 2.8 millimeters. The choice I have is what pattern to use. In other words, you'll see them where they do them symmetrically all the way around, and you see them where they'll do here, here, and here, and here, and make it kind of different, asymmetrical pattern, or a symmetrical asymmetric pattern, if that makes any sense. And the post, the sound post, goes right here inside the violin, and some take and they thin it out and bring it thicker back to the sound. So at the sound post it's thicker, it thins out all the way out and around, and it gets back up to thicker here. So that's, I mean, this is not an amazing piece of wood. It's actually 2 pieces of wood. It's not an amazing piece of wood, but I need to figure out where I want to go with that. So to do the thicknessing, there's a couple of tools we're going to use. One is this thickness measure. See? And this allows me to get into the violin plate and drop the thing down and get a thickness on the dial indicator. This is in millimeters. The only downside of this one is the individual millimeter graduation dial on the inside is really kind of small. So I got to watch that. So that's the dial indicator thing. The other thing is, once you pick where you want the thicknesses or thinnesses at in the plate, one of the tricks that people use is a tool like this. This is an anvil, a bolt, and a pin, a screw, and it goes up and down. So what this does is you set the depth between that pin and that anvil, and then you have the lines drawn on the plate where you want that particular thickness, let's say 2.5 millimeters, and you go and you take your wood and you go like that and push down, and it leaves a little pin imprint that's 2.5 millimeters deep, so then you know when you start planing how far not to go. In other words, when that little spot disappears, you know to stop, or you should know to stop. Onto the plates and doing everything on the plates. So the first fixture that I want to show you is this. It's a fixture, what it is, and it's got stops all the way around here, and the plate fits very tight but not too super snug in between those stops, like so. Yep, get it in there. There, like that. So this holds the plate on the bench firm while I'm doing planing. So I don't have to hold it in one hand and try to plane it with the other. This way, I'm thinking less chances for error or faults or fake, whatever. And then I do the same thing when I get the back plate and start doing this. It's a little more difficult because this is tiger maple. So that's my planing fixture. And that's for the 2 plates. This fixture, I made this years ago when I first started this project, holds the bouts, which is the sides of the violin, and the blocks of the violin at the right shape for the plate to glue on top of it. So yeah, it's a gluing fixture. It's a gluing fixture. What you do is you glue and I have specialty clamps to go around this. When you're done and ready to start assembling the violin, you glue the top plate. And glue the top plate on first. Glue. And then I have to do some drilling in here and here for a few things. For instance, the neck, which I have to shape. This is the neck block up here, and I'm going to glue that in place, but I'm also going to put a short screw in there. Our ancestors would have used nails to nail it in from here, and I'll do that after one plate is in place. And then the hole for the tailpiece pin that goes in the back of the bottom of the violin. You put the line around that and it holds the tailpiece in place, is already there. So that's that. And this is right now, and I can't use it. I'll explain later. But this is the correct style fingerboard for a Baroque violin. But this has purfling already on it, and I have to cut it short, which would cut off the purfling here. So I'll probably make a new one the right shape. So now let's go to the tools. The majority of the tools I'll be using for, you know what, let's bring the camera down and show you. As I was saying, the majority of the tools I'll be using are Luthier Planes. These little puppies right here. They're made of brass. Adjusting them is a pain in the butt, but it's very doable. Sharpening the irons is different from sharpening irons on any other plane because, of course, you can't put these in a sharpening jig. So you're going to run them. You can see how polished that is, I think. You're going to polish the back of the iron to bring the sharpness up on the edge, and I actually polish the bevel just a little bit here. You can see that. And it slips back in here. Whoops. Slips back in here with the little cap and holds it in place. And adjusting these is a little finicky too. You really have to be careful when you adjust the cut of the plane here of the iron. You want it just sticking out a little bit. You want to be taking little tiny bits of wood. This is my test piece I'm going to show you in a minute. Little tiny pieces of wood off of the plates. Get this back in there. Yep, goes this way. So this one, of course, I have to readjust. So we'll leave that to the side. The other plane, oh, by the way, these are compound. They are radiused in this direction, front to back, and they're radiused side to side. This is a tiny, tiny, tiny little spoke shave for smoothing things out when I get down to where I need to be. And then I'll use a card scraper after that. So there's going to be little gouges in here from the little planes, and then I'm going to come back with this little sucker here, continuing measuring as I go along, and then card scrapers to finish it. And then this from Lee Nielsen is a Luthier's plane, of a slightly different design. It's got a little bit more footprint, and it also is radiused in two directions, this way and that way. So let me show you how these little suckers work. This is a test piece. Now, 90% of the planing you're going to be doing in these plates is going to be across the grain, this way, just going across the grain. You can do this way, but from what I've been told and read, you have a bit more control when you're going across the grain, but of course your tools have to be very sharp. So the example of that is, here's my little tiny mid-size Luthier's plane. And I'm just taking off a little bit. I'm about a ½ millimeter just with those few strokes. Of course, this is flat, so it's going to be different. And then we come back with the spoke shave, and that smooths it out even more. And then, of course, there'll be a card scraper that'll come across and do that. Let's play with this one a little bit. Yeah, see? This one actually needs a little sharpening. Oops, gotta keep these in camera. This one needs a little bit of sharpening. These other ones seem to be pretty good. I don't know if you can see in camera how much I'm taking off, but. And the reason you want to take very little off, because you have to sneak up on these dimensions. I mean, we're talking going from 4 millimeters to maybe 2.5 millimeters. So you got to sneak up on it very carefully. And there you go, the Cliff's Notes of tuning a violin in the rough, in the raw, whatever. Does anybody use Cliff Notes anymore? Are they even a thing? Okay, so there's the short story of the difficult, time-consuming stuff that's coming up. Little note on the neck. I had mentioned in a previous video that I was going to have to do the shortening at the peg box. I found out by doing the measurements with my drawing and a few other things that I discovered that I can take off 1/2 to 5/8 of an inch here, plenty of meat behind that, and that will give me the exact dimension I need for the length of the neck with relation to the violin body. Then, of course, on top of that goes the fingerboard. Yes, the fingerboard. And this has to be this short, this long, not this long. We'll get there. And this is in the rough. It needs a lot of sweetening and cleaning up and making nice, so it really looks nice and pretty. And again, this is maple. It doesn't have much figure in it, but there's a little bit of figure in that. So, episode 2. How difficult is it? We'll get there. So, until next time, make great things out of wood.